All right, we are on air. It is Thursday, March 15th. Thanks everybody for joining and watching this meeting. This one is a check-in on active development tasks for Backdrop CMS. Before we get into active tasks, I did want to announce we've got a couple of new projects in Contrib this week. Comment Closer, which is a part of a Drupal 7 module that happens to be a core feature in WordPress. It allows you to specify a period of time for every post that comments should be open versus when the comments will close automatically. So it's a great spam prevention tool, and it's something that we should maybe consider for core and Backdrop. But now that we have it in Contrib, it's something that people can use, and we can count the statistics on usage there. One thing to note for something like that, though, is that I've never used the comment closer module, but if that feature was in core, I would probably use it all the time. So there are things like that where maybe our statistics on usage might not be an accurate measurement of how valuable that feature would be to people. So we'll just need to use a little common sense there. Other new modules we have are references dialog and node reference URL widget. So these are both modules that extend reference modules. We have some work going on around reference the Contrib module as well. So they'll probably be great examples for making sure that the APIs that we include in the reference module that's slated for core can do the same things that the APIs that are currently in these modules can do to make sure that these Contrib modules will continue working, even requires a little adjustments there to make sure that they can work with a new field. Oh, great. Nate's pointed out that there's an issue for comment closer in core. It's issue 3001. So if anyone's interested in having that, please weigh in there, because I think that would be valuable to have feedback. Okay, website-related issues. So this is for backdropcms.org. We're currently working on improving the modules, themes, and layout pages. There's an issue for that in the backdropcms.org queue. It's number 442. And if you're interested in seeing the designs that we want to implement for those pages, we did do a screen share of those during today's design meeting. So if you want to check out that video, you'll be able to see what those look like. And for our forum site, forum.backdropcms.org, we have been requested to add a search box, and that should be coming shortly. So that's it for our websites. And next, Backdrop CMS itself.
Yeah, okay, so let's see. First of all, it's March 15th. March 15th, a notable date because it is exactly 2 months from May 15th, which is the release of Backdrop 1.10 according to our scheduled release policy. So that means we have exactly 2 months for 1.10, or actually 1.5 months before feature freeze for 1.10, which always happens at the first of the month. So yeah, we're continuing to rock along here. Items for Backdrop 1.9.3, that's the next bug fix release, is, let's see, we got one large issue that if fixed, we would make the 1.9.3 or the 1.9.3 release, and that is issue 2904, which is a regression problem with database credentials that at one point, special characters could not be used in database credentials, at least when done via the installer. So we URL encoded those special characters, but then broke the % symbol as kind of a side effect, because the % symbol is used in URL encoding. So there's a pull request there that kind of introduces a workaround, but needs more visibility to notify the site developer or administrator that their database credentials need to be manually updated. So the status of that one is the fix is there, but we need to add some more visibility and reporting on that particular issue before it is committed. Also, issue 2971, which looks like it's a problem regarding upgrade path, that new lines in emails when upgraded. I think this happens from all Drupal 7 sites. The emails actually have literally a \n printed out in the emails rather than a new line character. So it looks like there's a pull request that needs review there for that one. issue 2971. As always, there's the issue tracker for 1.9.3 issues. There's a couple dozen issues, I think, that are kind of in that like fast track category of issues that we'd like to get fixed as soon as possible. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like there's a number of issues here that a couple of them are in needs review state, but most of these items in the 1.9.3 label or release have been reviewed, and they're all in a needs work state. Like it looks like about, I'd say about like 26 of like 30 issues are all in a needs work state. So there's a good number of issues there. If you're looking to make some, probably relatively quick adjustments to Backdrop to make minor improvements, there's a number of bug fixes that have all been reviewed and then basically need additional work there. So there's a good start on almost all of those issues, but they all need redoing or some adjustments to actually get them back into a needs review state. Okay, 1.10. 1.10 will be coming out May 15th, 2018. We've got a pretty heavy focus on translation improvements for this particular release. Issue 225 is an issue to make menu items translatable. The status of that one is that it's been reviewed. It actually was RTBC even at one point, but there's some terminology changes there. It's a real minor set of changes that is just basically pending a re-roll so that we can get that re-reviewed and then put into core. So that one very likely to be in 1.10. Just needs a little bit more work to get it ready for core. Config translation is issue 704. I'm not sure if it's time yet to start making calls about what gets in and what doesn't, but this one needs some love. We have a proof of concept pull request, but we need to go beyond that and actually get it to actual implementation and get it to a point that it is actually usable for being a starting point to get into core. We don't need to do all of the config translation all in one release, but at this point, even the base system for making config translatable, although we have a really solid plan, we don't have the implementation put in place yet. So that one still has quite a ways yet to go. And then finally, block translation is issue 2956. This one is actually in a really good place. It's currently, I think, actually marked RTBC, and it's pending review from a maintainer, which is probably me. So that one's on my plate to actually push forward on that one. Thank you to Bjorn ST for your excellent work there, and my apologies for the delay in getting that reviewed. Also, anybody else, we would love additional reviews on that to review both the implementation and the usability of it. Issue 2956 for block translation. So all three of those moving along a little bit, and it would be really awesome to get all of those completed for 1.10. Besides translation, we have some UX improvements regarding turning on and off and finding and installing modules, themes, and layouts. First of which is issue 37. I think this was pointed out not too long ago as being notable because it is the oldest open issue in the Backdrop issue queue. Issue 37 is making it so that modules and themes and layouts have the capability to have tags listed in their .info files so that when you search or filter, you can find all of the modules that are related to like blocks, for example, and the tags themselves would match the filters. The status of this one is that there's a new pull request. It's been rebased, and so you can go and try out the sandbox in that new pull request, but it does still need some implementation work. So that's great to see that being revived and actually seeing some progress there.
We should also add a shout out to Doc Wilmot for doing all of the work to get the first implementation working like a year ago. And then the fact that I was able to like rebase it and all working again today is impressive. So great job on getting us started on that. I can't wait to see it come to fruition.
Let's see. Next item is instant filter should search project grouping names. This is issue 2973. This one actually kind of ties into that previous issue a little bit because I tried out the instant filter in the new sandbox and it didn't actually include the tags. So like if I typed in like layout, for example, I expect block module to show up there because block module has the layout tag, but the tag isn't actually done in the search. But anyway, this issue is primarily about the category that modules are in should if you search for something like categorization, I think, or categories, I think taxonomy is in such a field, in such a category, then oh, that's a terrible example. Anyway, if it's inside of the category, all of the modules within that category should be shown when you type in that category into the instant filter search. There's been no recent status updates on this one, I don't think.
I added a note that that fix might be included in the other pull request.
Yeah, we could do them all together, or we can do them separately. Either approach would be fine.
There's just a lot of change going on in the existing pull request, and I think trying to keep them both like on top of what the other one's doing might slow them both down. So I'm going to take a stab at getting the first one cleaned up and then seeing what it would take to just add that. So the first pull request, we have the one for the modules grouping actually removes all of the packaging. So I need to put that back in. And then once it's back in, it should be fairly straightforward to just fix the search that's already on it. But I don't know. I want to take a look at it first and see how crazy it is. So who knows?
Yeah.
Lots of issues.
And lastly, in the category of modules, themes, and layouts improvements is making it so that you can have multiple screenshots. Right now, only themes have screenshots, and they are only allowed one. And we'd like to expand that out so that modules and layouts also could provide screenshots so that we could improve the finding of modules and layouts when using the project installer, or possibly even later from the modules page. So that issue is issue 1517, and that's just adding the basic capabilities, and then later we would expand that out to actually leverage the screenshots in various places. Yeah. Also see the GitHub issue tracker for 1.10 issues. There's a number of other items that are kind of on the wish list for 1.10, but we will not go over all of them here. So that's it for the 1.10 status update. Let's see, Jeff is not here this week, so we will skip his section. So that brings us to the end of this particular meeting. We have a general discussion, open Q&A. Jason, thanks for joining this week. If we have anything else that we'd like to talk about, now's the time. Nothing? Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And we'll catch you guys next week and see you on the internet.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.